invite, or ping, whatever word you prefer
Con.
to use.
Corey say ping as many as people as you can to the room. Um,
Mhm.
gonna have a good one tonight.
I see like six of
Yes,
ours account, so I gotta skip those pings.
right. Ariella got like yeah 20 something.
They're wasting pings hitting those
You
accounts.
know,
Yeah,
uh, that's right. Y'all see that shooting in Colorado?
yeah, I saw it.
We're definitely gonna be discussing that tomorrow on a news brief in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead and make y'all a moderator.
Most, most High is stirring up those spirits.
Yeah, yeah, they are definitely getting more brazen. Um, so let's give a few more minutes. If you are just coming into the room, welcome to Thy Kingdom Come. It's the name of the club. You see it right above our profiles. Just if you're not a member already, please click on that little greenhouse, become a member, nominate others to become a member. Follow the moderators. We have mid-morning brew news in the morning. We cover current events and news related to the end times, Jacob's trouble, geopolitical news, financial news, things of that nature. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the room. If there's anything else, Mike or King Ben, you want to add before we get started?
Live.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Tonight, we will be covering power outages, the days of darkness. So, what are the possible ways the U.S. Will experience a power outage, and some of the things we can do to prepare ourselves? Because knowing how it happened will help us know which decisions we'll have to make. So, just giving a quick recap of our past episodes. This is episode 4. So, our first week, we gave a broad overview of Jacob's trouble. What is it? What did the Bible say? Scriptures to bolster your faith and subdue your fear while preparing in the natural. We covered prepping for food, water, personal protection, generators, etc., which we will cover and have covered in greater detail in other episodes. King Ben has a YouTube channel covering these past lessons, so please check it out. Episode 2, we discussed hyperinflation, which is the black horseman in Revelation chapter 6, verse 5 and 6. Hyperinflation is a term to describe rapid and excessive out of control prices, which can be measured about 50% increase per month. Episode 3, we went into a greater detail about food storage. What are the best foods to store long term? What are the best methods to accumulate your food pantries? We talked about utilizing food banks as well as a good option to supplement your food bill while storing. So in this episode, we are covering power outages. I am going to start off with 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verses 10 through 11. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, destroy the land thereof. So let's go to Exodus chapter 10, verse 20. But the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. And the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thine hand toward heaven, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt, even darkness which may be felt. And Moses stretched forth his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt 3 days. They saw not one another, neither rose any from his dwelling place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. Now, during a grid down power outage, there will be darkness in the land. Okay, now there are 2 ways this can happen. You got a cyber attack or an EMP. EMP stands for electric magnetic pulse. Okay, cyber attacks happen every day, every hour, every minute. But at some point, these cybersecurity systems will fail, and the U.S. will be vulnerable. When the power goes out. Now, real quick, Here's how to tell. Okay, now contrast that with the EMP. An EMP is it's not it's caused by a nuke. So when there's a nuclear blast, the natural after effect is an EMP. So here's how to tell if you're experiencing or if we're experiencing a cyber attack or an EMP. So within a cyber attack, if it's attacking all necessary infrastructures, your cell phone will still be on. Okay. So during the power outage here in Texas, it was statewide. Okay. Or, yeah, it was statewide. So my cell phone still worked. I still had power, but the signal was very weak. I mean, it was trash. I tried getting on Clubhouse. I mean, it was just, I couldn't hear I couldn't hear anything. So um, that lets you know that it wasn't a cyber attack, but it was just a grid down scenario. Now contrast that with an EMP. An EMP, my cell phone would be dead. It would be black. It would not turn on. Laptops would not turn on. Your car will not start. Any vehicle made after 1980 will be dead and will not function. So that's the difference. That's the difference between an EMP and a cyber attack. A cyber attack will affect the power grid. It can affect the power grid. It can affect a million different things, but a power grid specifically, if that's what they're targeting with the cyber attacks, your phone will still work. Your car will still work as long as it has a battery or a power source. Generators will still work. They will still work if it's a cyber attack. Okay. So now in either scenario, those are bad. Now an EMP will be worse because cars will not be working. Okay. Any car made after 1980 will not be working. It will be dead in the water. Now, all points of society will be affected: the government, banking, utilities, food, transportation. Now, with utilities, not only does that affect the energy, but also nuclear power plants. So when all this goes down, in essence, what it means is there's no internet, no Instagram models, no filters, no internet flexing or stunning, no more tweeting, no more capping, no more Clubhouse, no more YouTube influencers, no more bashing black men online, no memes, no NBA, no L, no water waste management, no food trucks to come stock the grocery stores, no gas trucks, no air conditioning, no heat, no medical devices for hospitals or homes, no prescription medicine from your Walgreens or CVS, no more restaurants, no more security systems, no more banking, no ATMs, no phones, no TV, no video games, no Netflix, no online shopping, no refrigeration, no police, EMTs, or medical services or fire departments, no 911, no running water, no clean water. The seriousness of this situation cannot be overstated. Now, for me personally, some of that stuff where I just listed, I'll thank the God of heavens for shutting that stuff down. But the seriousness of this situation cannot be overstated because this differs from a short-term power outage where eventually the power comes back on and we all return to our normal lives. We've all experienced some sort of power outage, whether it be a few hours, few days, or a few weeks, which in those cases we should be prepared. But in a long-term power outage from a cyber attack or EMP, when the US is under attack, the whole list of items I listed will be affected by the power outage and will be off permanently, not coming back. That's the difference. Now, here's what to expect in the first 24 hours. So I'm going to give you a timeline of what to expect, how to prepare, and what should you do in the first 24 hours, et cetera, et cetera. Now, here's what to expect in the first 24 hours. This is assuming, okay? This is assuming that no one knows why the power went out. There's some documentaries. I'll put together a list and put them on my YouTube channel, King Ben's channel, and you can watch those. These documentaries. No one knows why the power went out. Okay, it's just suspected it's an attack. Okay, now, so what to expect in the first 24 to 72 hours, assuming no one knows why. Now, if it's an unknown attack and the information has hit the news before the power went out, then expect the reactions to these timelines to be different. Okay, so if the attack is unknown, there won't likely be a panic since this is something we've all experienced. People who didn't stock up will likely go to the grocery stores and will have to wait in line, and those who will have cash will be able to purchase. Functioning ATMs and gas stations who still have power from generators will have long lines. Now, I doubt the ATMs will work because the network that communicates with the bank will be down. So what I'm describing is probably a cyber attack. It's not an EMP because none of this would work. Which again is why you want to have cash on hand just in case you need to transact in the first few days. Now, your neighbors will start barbecuing and cooking the food they have in the fridge. Now, if the news gets out that we are under attack, and this is the first wave, you will expect panicking and looting in cities everywhere. So, if this is a national attack, you will expect it to people just to lose it. Okay. Now, this is why our U.S. government will lie and lie until they can't lie anymore. They do not want to deal with the social unrest on nationwide looting and try to deal with Iran, Russia, and China. Okay. So until you see or hear missiles hitting major cities, the government will lie and blame power outages on anything they can. Okay. So let's assume no one knows why the power went out. And we're assuming it's a cyber attack because the EMP, everything is dead. So that was the first 24 to 72 hours. Now, after 1 week, gas stations will be empty, cash will be useless. Those who did not prepare will do anything they can to get what they need. Now, this is where you're going to have to deal with those friends and family who said to you during this time, hey, I don't need to prepare. I'll just come to your house. Now, for me, I had friends and family that jokingly tell me this, and I told them, well, you need to prepare for yourself and your family. Now, when it really goes down, I doubt those people will be joking. So your neighbors will start to get desperate. And if they think you have anything they can use or eat, they're coming to your house. They may knock and ask nicely the first time. And if you give them anything, you can expect them to come back, and the word will get out very quickly that you have supplies. If you say no the first time, then you can expect the next time they come back. They won't be knocking, but they won't be knocking with their hands. They will be knocking with gunshots. Cops will go rogue. They will leave their post and take care of their own families. So at this point, you will be on your own. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, 18 through 19. For because their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses will be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. This is why OPSEC, what we discussed last week, operational security, is very important. You warn people initially. If they don't have ears to hear, you leave them alone and stop talking about it. For me, I made this mistake, it wasn't a mistake, but when I first, got into prepping and all this stuff, I was telling my friends, oh, hey, you should do this and this. People from the church and everyone's like, yeah, right. Call me crazy and all this other stuff. Now, once I realized they don't have an ear to hear, and not that they didn't have an ear to hear, they became scoffers. At that point, I stopped talking about it because, again, these are the same people showing up to your door saying, hey, I remember 6 months ago or 2 years ago, you said something about preparing, So now I suggest having a long-term bug-in plan, okay? Now, the difference between bug out and bug in is bug out is you're leaving your house and you're never coming back. Okay, bug in is I'm staying here as long as possible. Okay, so this is all the things I talked about in terms of the past episodes: long-term food storage, water generators. That's more for in your house. Now, your bug out bag, which we're going to cover in detail, don't worry about it. That's for when you leave. Okay. Now, the reason why you want to have a bug in plan is because, again, if it is an attack, which it probably will be, you do not want to be on the streets while the U.S. while Babylon is trying to fight the Medes. Okay. So this is Isaiah chapter 26, verses 20 and 21. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth shall also disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain. So we read that in, if you read that in 2nd Ezra 15, the Lord is coming to punish the earth. So because of the innocent blood that cries out to him continually. So, and we know through Bible prophecy, part of that is going to be the war with Iran, Russia, China, and the US. So also during this time, you can expect sewage to be backed up, which is why you need to think about making a portable toilet. Okay. You can make these toilets with a 5-gallon bucket, which you can buy at Walmart or Home Depot. You get some trash bags and kitty litter, and that will be your toilet. Now you can use that you can use it when the time comes. Now, this is a reality that we all will have to face. Okay. So you're not going to be able to hold it in forever. And you're not going to want to keep using water to flush down the toilets, because even if you do during a power outage, I'm talking about national scale, this is cyber attack EMP, not something like Texas was dealing with for a few days or a week in some areas. Eventually, that sewage is going to get backed up. Okay. And so you're going to want to look for alternate ways to, use the restroom. So a 5-gallon bucket, you can get one of those little floaties, styrofoam floaties to put around the brim of the bucket. It kind of makes a toilet seat, or you can buy a toilet seat that fits on a 5-gallon bucket. Just look it up, toilet seat for 5-gallon buckets. You'll find it. You get some trash bags to fit it, some kitty litter to cover up the smell, and there you go. Now that's after the first to 2 weeks. Now after 2 weeks, depending on how bad the situation has gotten in your house, it may be time to leave. Now, here's how to assess when it's time to leave and versus when it's not. Now, some of the reasons you will have to leave your house is, number one, you've been thrown out. This is, brothers, can I get 2nd Ezra 16:75 and 16:68? I'm about to go over this verse. Now, some of the reasons is you've been thrown out. Just point blank and simple. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 70. For there shall be in every place, the next cities, a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste away and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So at some point, some people are going to get thrown out. Some of us are going to leave voluntarily. So even if you've been thrown out, it's nothing to worry about. But this is why you want to have your bug out bags already packed. So when it's time to go, it's time to go. Now, other reasons it may be time to leave is that dead bodies are piling up. So after 2 weeks to a month, it's about 2 weeks to a month, people are going to get desperate. Primal instincts of neighbors and people are going to come out. The food in their house, because they thought, it was a temporary power outage, has gone bad. They didn't prepare. The stores are empty. There's nothing on the shelves. 2 weeks to a month. I mean, in America, since Americans are so, I guess, soft compared to third world countries where the power is almost always off, or other countries, I would push up this timeline to maybe 5 days, 5 to 7 days. So, but let's just say 2 weeks from being, give Americans some credit. Let's say 2 weeks. It's going to be bad. Like, cops are going to go rogue. Those who don't have families or their families died, they're going to start, robbing people in their uniform, pretending to help other people. So it's going to be like you're literally on your own. Now, other reasons it may be time to leave is, like I said, dead bodies are piling up. Your house may have caught on fire because your neighbor's house caught on fire because they fell asleep with a bunch of candles and started a fire. Now, candle incompetency is a real thing. Most house fires start by accident. So you got a power outage. People don't know what to do, or the fire safety. So you got a bunch of people in their houses with candles. Now, your house may become flooded. It may become unlivable, or you may have fought off some invaders, and your house is filled with dead bodies outside, but covered with bullet holes, and it's just become unsafe. Now, the answer when to move will be clear. We just can't lean on our own understanding. And where to go will be clear as well. Can I get, brothers, can I get 2nd Ezra 16:75?
Con. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 75. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide, and
Mm-hmm.
the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves.
So thank you very much. So God is, Yahweh is our guide. Okay. Now the guide of them who keeps his commandments and precepts. So everyone who's just yelling Jesus and the laws are done away with, he's not guiding them. This is what he says. You know, he's not guiding them. Now, again, I said this and I'm going to keep saying it, and you're going to see for yourself. The Christian church, I'm going to do a lesson on the categories of people during this time. The Christian church undoubtedly will be the worst group that we're going to run into, because we're the ones, Israel, we're the ones warning them to get out of these churches. We told them about Babylon. We told them about Iran. We told them about Mark of the Beast. We told them about EMPs. We told them to be prepared. These people are going to be the ones coming for us, those in the name of Jesus. So, it's really like, if I had just had to choose between a devout Christian who believes in this whole rapture doctrine and all this, and an atheist, an atheist will probably have their head on more so than a Christian, because everything they just been told was a lie, and it's not going to be like, oh my God, I've been lied to. Brother, you've been teaching this for years. Let me come to you. What is the truth now? I'm ready to listen. No, that's not going to be. It'll be a few of those, but not many. The many will be, you Negroes this is y'all's fault. This is why this is happening. Somehow, we're the ones who caused Iran to invade this place. Now, so where to go, it will be clear. Yahweh will be our guide. Okay, so we just have to keep our sins down. Do not let them do not let them gain dominion or lift up themselves over us, our iniquities, and we'll be okay. Now, my sister asked me, she asked where to go, and I shared this with her. But these are the places you do not want to go. Okay. So based off just history, history dealing with natural disasters or wartime, these are the places you do not want to go unless the Lord told you specifically. Now you really got to get in a place where you know where the Lord is talking to you and you hear his voice. Now for me, I'm not going there unless I hear thus says the Lord. Now, these are the places you do not want to go. You do not want to be in large population centers. You do not want to be in FEMA camps. Those will be death camps. Can I get 2nd Ezra 16, 68 and 69?
Con, I got you. You said 68 and 69?
Yes.
All right. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they shall consent unto them, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision, and in reproach, and trodden underfoot.
Okay. Now, they shall take away certain of you and feed you. Now, in a time of desperation, you haven't eaten in 3 days or 5 days or 2 weeks, you're going to be desperate. And verse 69 is key. And they that consent unto them, you're going to have a choice. It may not seem like a choice, but you're going to have a choice. You will always have a choice, because it says, and they that consent unto them, they shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. Now that reads very different than we read in the other verse where the Lord says, "I will be your guide, and I'm gonna be the guide of them." These are the ones that consent. Now, many of our people will go into these FEMA camps and stadiums out of desperation and out of fear. These people who are running these camps are not in the truth and do not have your best interests at heart. Again, the military at some point there will be a broken chain of command, and the captain or whatever the FEMA camp is going to go to his family and put a bunch of 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-olds in charge of the FEMA camp, and whoever's there will be in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot. Now, remember Hurricane Katrina and what went on at the Superdome. Now, I had a friend, I have a friend, he's Indian. During the Iraq and Kuwait war, Desert Storm, he was stuck in Kuwait. And his dad was like, no, we're not going to. I mean, I just call them FEMA camps, refugee camps. He said, no, we're not going to a refugee camp. And his friend was like, no, you got to go. It's safe. It's protected. He's like, no, there's no way in hell I'm going there. And so somehow he got across the border into, I forgot where it was. I think Iraq or somewhere. And, they were able to get out safely or whatever. But when when the war was over, his friends who were in the FEMA camps told him stories, and they said, man, we should have listened to you. Now, my friend's dad didn't have a plan. He didn't have, a bunch of money. He wasn't prepared. He just knew, I'd rather be in the desert than in those camps. Now, the stories that came out of those camps were they had one toilet to 70 families. Families, men, women, and children, 70, one toilet. Food came maybe, once a day, or maybe, once every other day. It was completely, the stories he told was complete madness. Okay. Now, take that same scenario and multiply it by government during Hurricane Katrina. Complete madness, no organization, complete breakdown in structure. Now, that was just one city. Now, take that and spread it across all 50 states, and you're going to see how big of a problem this is going to be when because the word's going to get out. So there's shelter at so and so, there's safety at so and so. All of these places is, my opinion, and just based on what I've seen and based on what I read in scripture, will be death camps. Okay, now you're going to have people with you who say, they're not listening to anything we're saying now about Babylon, law, statutes, commandments, the Passover. They're not trying to hear none of this. Now, when this time comes, you're going to have people that we know that are going to be afraid, desperate, and starving. And they will consent unto them and eat things offered unto idols. So at that point, if it comes between leaving, your family because they really want to go to this camp because the word around town, or everyone is walking towards this camp, you got to make some hard decisions. So I'm not saying you won't be saved, but just know what you're walking into. And my friend also told me during that camp, he said there's no in and out. So like you can't say like, oh, okay, let me go in here and just see how it is, and then if I don't like it, I'm out of here. Because for security reasons, they don't know, if you got some weapons or anything with you, or if you got anything going on. For security of the camp, they're not gonna let you just keep going in and out. Because some people try to sneak weapons in and cause chaos within those camps. So don't think you're gonna be walking in and out. So know that ahead of time. If you're in, you're probably going to be in there unless the Lord delivers you. So now that King Ben, something you want to add?
Yeah, just very quickly. Just the emphasis on, because it may have, went over their heads a little quickly regarding what you brought out earlier, just in in Esdras and Exodus about um the land in dark. And I think a lot of our people, we get complacent with the way this, it's like, when everybody's trying to prepare, but once it's game time, that's when you're in it. We have a lot, with storms that pass, we have a lot of little blackouts and things like that, and we always sit in a moment. It happened to me the other day, and I had to correct myself. Like, it was a moment where the internet went out, the power flashed out, and you're in that mode that, like, when it's gonna come back on. You're calling the cable company, you're calling the light company, and what I'm saying, give you the delay. You could go on Twitter if you have like cell phone service and check to see, what's going on Twitter, how long the delay is, who else is experiencing it. But I don't think any of us is prepared for it not to come back on. You know what I'm saying? And this is nothing new. This is something that our ancestors went through, right? And I'm gonna just go to a couple precepts real quick to prove that point. And you brought it out, but I'm gonna add just a little, let me back on a little bit on what you said. I want to go to let me go to the book of Ecclesiastes real quick, and I'm gonna bring out 3 and 15, Salakia. And we know that the Most High, He requires what once passed, right? And this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which has been now, and that which has Salakia, and that which is to be hath already been, and Yahweh requireth that which is past. So, as you brought out in in Exodus 10 and 20, and also in Second Esdras, you brought out that how the Most High brought one of the 10 plagues. He brought darkness, and that wasn't just no regular darkness. That was darkness that you can touch. That was like, it was physical darkness. Okay, and none of us have never experienced that. These little lights going out, we usually have candles, we usually have our cell phones, but we never had like the whole land dark. Okay, that was fearful darkness that came out over Egypt, right? So we know that the Most High is going to require, because what was that? It was a plague. It was something, and He's saying that these plagues are returning to the earth, right? Let me go real quick to I believe you brought out Exodus 15, but I'm gonna go to 16 real quick just to prove that. Because what does the Most High say? The Most High say that this is matter of fact, let me go to Revelations real quick, just to know that this is considered where we are, Egypt. I'm gonna go to Revelations real quick, and I'm gonna go to Revelations 11 and 8, because we gotta prove the point that this is the Most High. If He requiring once past, meaning that we're in Egypt again, at least spiritual Egypt. This is Revelations 11 and 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also the Lord was crucified. So we are, in spiritual Egypt, as you know, from pursuant to Deuteronomy 28:68, where He says, I will bring you into Egypt again. So this land is considered Egypt. So these plagues will return. He will require what once was passed, right? So in saying that, I'm gonna go quickly to Second Esdras 16 real quick, and Second Esdras 16 and 14, and to know that these are plagues, right? It says, this is Second Esdras 16 and 14. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth, right? It says 16, it says, like as an arrow which is shot of the mighty archer returneth not backwards, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. So these plagues that the Most High required once before are returning, and they shall not come back until prophecies be fulfilled. And I already proved that this is literally spiritual Egypt. We are back in those days, right? So yeah, that was basically it. I just wanted to, bring that out to let us know that, this is gonna be a time where these lights are just not gonna pop back on. It's not gonna be a thing where you could call up, your company and be like, yo, demanding, yo, I paid my damn bill. What's going on here? Because that's usually the first reaction. You mad as hell, you walking around the house, you know what I'm saying? Before you go look for candles, you going to call somebody up because you like, yo, the lights gotta come back on. I done paid my bill. Shoot, I need these to come on now. I need my internet to be on. I got a show I need to watch. You know what I'm saying? And this is not gonna be the case, right? I think I got one more real quick. Bear with me. I had one more. I'm gonna let you get it back, Leo. I'll hit it up later.
Okay, sure, no problem. Now, and so with that, yeah, it's going to be required again. So, I mean, what we do here, we warn, and then we give solutions on how to prepare in the spirit and in the natural. So, in other lessons, we went over a ton of precepts on how to subdue your fear, secure your faith, and the requirement to keep the commandments in order to be protected during this time. This is 2 Ezra 16:74. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, and neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves. So again, this is different than those who consent unto them. They're going to be trodden down and had in derision and reproached and trodden underfoot. Now, again, the way the Bible describes it and how it will physically play out will be, more intense. So again, it may not seem like you have a choice. I mean, they may seem very convincing. No, you're going to die if you stay here. We're from, National Guard, blah, blah, blah. Just come, da, da, da. They that consent unto them. Okay. If anyone is from, the north, was around here during Hurricane Katrina, I mean, just Google Superdome during Hurricane Katrina. Just go to YouTube, just type in Superdome, Hurricane Katrina, and just watch the videos and multiply that across all 50 states that have a football stadium or a baseball stadium or a basketball stadium. I mean, not stadium or, like a convention center or something like that. That's going to be, it's going to be terrible, man. Now that we went over the problem, here's how to prepare. That was in the spirit, okay? Now in the natural, how to prepare for a power outage. Now, this is just a combination of what we talked about in the past episodes. Now, at this time, you want to take advantage at this opportunity as much as you can, and you want to learn as many skills as you can while there's time. Now, assuming you have your food storage, you have your water storage, and you have ways to filter and purify your water. Now, with water purification, you want to make sure you have some ways to treat the water you get. You can buy purification tabs, okay? Water purification tabs. They're very cheap. You can look them up. They're very easy to use. You can buy some life straws. They're literally called life straws. They filter dirty water and make it clean. There's a lot of videos of guys sucking water out of muddy water, and it comes out clean. It's pretty amazing, okay? Now, you can build a filter. I mean, if you have the money, you can just buy a Berkey water filter. If not, I mean, those are kind of expensive. I have the supplies to build my own, which you just need two 5-gallon buckets and the filters. We'll cover that in a lesson in detail on how to make sure you have a stable water supply. So, we're assuming you have all that in place. Okay. So for power outages, you want to make sure you have some battery banks to charge your devices. So you're saying, okay, hey, wait a minute. Why am I buying a battery bank to charge my device? If an EMP hits, everything will be dead. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to show you how to protect your devices from an EMP. Just one sec. Now, the battery banks, just go to Amazon right now, or, if you just buy a computer or something, type in battery banks. Now, when you type in battery banks, you're going to see some numbers, a long number with the letters MAH. Now that MAH is that's milliamp hours. Okay, so that just shows you just how long that bank will charge your device. Okay, so 10,000. You see some that are 20,000. The higher that number is, the longer and the more things it can charge. Okay, so the one I'm looking at right now is 30,000 mAh, milliamp hours. It's $35.99. Okay, it's a pretty good model. Now, so with that battery bank, that you'll be able to charge your devices. Now, on your devices, you want to make sure you have apps that will that'll help you during this time. So your mobile games and all your selfies are not going to help you at all. So if you pull to refresh my screen on your screen, these are some of the apps that I have on my phone right now. So SAS just means survive any situation. So these are apps that have how to tie knots, how to start a fire, the altitude I'm in. There's a couple of compasses I got to add to this folder. Now, all of this is offline, so I will not need the internet to use these apps after the power went out or EMP hit. Okay. Now that app on the bottom right, here we go. I highly recommend you download that one. Okay, that one is it's an offline map. So you can download your state, you can download the country, you can download the region, and it will download the most up-to-date map for that region. Okay, you can also so when you open it, it does not need the internet. You just click offline map, and based on where you are, hopefully you know how to find yourself on a map. Based on where you are, it's kind of like Google Maps, so it's pretty detailed. You should be able to find where you want to go or where you need to go. So all of these work offline. I do not need the internet for these. So this is what you want to do during this time is download apps that are helpful. There are a bunch of medical apps, CPR apps, first aid apps that are all offline. So when you type in these apps, make sure it's offline. Okay, make sure that it doesn't need the internet to work. Okay, now remember, there's an EMP attack. All these devices will be dead in the water. So you want to protect your devices from an EMP, which is why you need to build a Faraday cage. Okay, you're asking what the hell is a Faraday cage? Okay, again, pull to refresh, and you'll see a Faraday cage. Now, this is how a Faraday cage. A Faraday cage, you put your devices in this, and it will protect your devices from an EMP. Okay. So this one, this video, just type it in. He runs a test to show you how it works, and he shows you that it does work. So you just need a can, an aluminum trash can. You can get one of the big ones. You can get a small one like this. You can get a liner, which I used an old bed sheet. He uses a bucket, and you can use some aluminum tape. Okay. Type in this description right here and watch that video, and he shows you how to do it. It's super simple. So this will protect your devices. If it's inside there, when an EMP hits, it'll protect your devices. Okay. Now, a Faraday cage is something that will protect your devices from an electromagnetic field, an EMP pulse. So now, I built a large one using a larger aluminum trash can. I stored my old devices that I don't use on a regular basis. Some old cell phones with preloaded apps, as I showed you before. Okay, and I also had some videos I screen recorded about camping, making a fire, water filtration, etc. I put all those in my Faraday cage. I tested it out. It works. Okay. I also have some walkie-talkies, a radio, and a battery-powered alarm system for the house. I'll go through that. They're very cheap on how to set up. And just a few other small electronics that will prove useful during a power outage. Now, with this is something you want to be very careful about. Let's say you build your Faraday cage, okay? You build your Faraday cage, everything, is perfect. You want to make sure you are extremely discreet when you leave your house. Because I'm telling you right now, how I said Christians will be the worst people, right below, I mean, within that group will be moms with spoiled kids. So if they think you have an iPad that works, that has some games that are going to shut their kids up, it's going to be a very difficult situation. So again, be discreet. If you have to leave, you probably want to map out where you're going to, and things like that. Now, for instance, the reason why I say map out is because you want to going the way that you normally go. Like for me, I'm in Houston. I got family in Dallas. Going down, the highway I-35 probably will not be the best option, because if it's an EMP, those cars are going to be dead all on the highway. The military will be using the highway for access, and I don't want to be out of sight. So I have to, assuming that's where I go. That's where the Lord told me. I mean, that's if the Lord told me to go there. I would have to find an alternate route that's not so obvious. Okay, so you don't want to be having at your phone. Get rid of those selfies. Get rid of those junk apps, and put some stuff on there that's going to help you during this time. So again, I have a lot of information on there that is useful, and it works. So go to this guy's video. You will see how to make it. He tests it. He shows you how it works. He does a test. You see the test, and it literally costs maybe 30, $50. Now, you want to be proactive. And I say this because this could happen at any moment, and you will sit in the dark, in your dark house, looking at your dead devices, wishing you would have spent $30 in 10 minutes creating a Faraday cage. Now, the initial attack may be cyber, but that does not mean an EMP won't come after. So again, an EMP usually comes from a nuke. From a nuke. Now, if a country really wanted to just use an EMP and destroy everything, they would set a nuke, I say about 1,000 miles above the U.S. So if they set off a nuke, or like just exploded it 1,000 miles above the U.S., let's say Kansas, like they would do Kansas, 1,000 miles above Kansas, that EMP would spread across most of the U.S. Okay, so that's them not wanting to use the nuke directly on the land, but they want to use an EMP. So just because it's a cyber attack does not mean you're safe from an EMP. So when the nuke comes, again, the natural effect of a nuclear explosion is an EMP. Now, you can buy some of these. Now, if you don't want to do this Faraday cage, which I highly recommend, you can buy some Faraday bags. Okay, so again, just go to Amazon, look up Faraday bags. They have some silver ones. They're called Faraday Defense. Okay, now the problem with these, in my experience, you have to double bag them just to get some of them to work. Now, you could also, from wear and tear, you could degrade the quality when you keep opening the bag and closing them. So I have some. I'm not too much of a fan of them because I tested it and I had to double bag my cell phone just for it to work, just for the bag to work. So again, real shortly, how do I know if it works? That guy's video will show you how it works, but just for the purpose of this conversation, I put my cell phone in the Faraday bag. I sealed it up, and my wife, she called my phone. Now, when she called it to tell if it works, if the phone rings and you can hear it ringing, if it rings, that means it's not working because the signal got through. Okay, so I put in another bag and sealed it, and she called it again, and it didn't work. Okay, so that's how you can tell if a signal can get through, it's not working. So double bag it and whatever. Now, if you have a radio, so for this Faraday cage, the one that's in my profile pic, You put the Faraday cage, like, so you turn on a radio, just a little small radio, put it inside the Faraday cage and close the Faraday cage. Put it on an FM station because those are typically stronger than AM. Put it on an FM station, and the radio will go off because it's not getting signal. Now you can't just say, "Oh, I'm gonna put it in any trash can and do it." No, the aluminum tape he has in that picture helps with the sealing to make sure no signal is getting through. So again, he does a test with walkie-talkies. It works. I highly recommend it. Now, here are some things you want to do in the first 24 hours of a cyber attack. Okay, first thing, before this happens, you want to make sure you and your family have a plan on what to do if the power goes out. Okay. Now, when I say family, I'm referring to those inside your house. Okay. So again, the same way you're stocking for food for, if it's just you and a family, if inside your house, if it's three of y'all, your food storage plan should be for three people, unless you plan on sharing. That's your decision. Doesn't matter. Now with this plan, I created a plan for all my family, my sister and her, her husband, and they kind of laugh it off and like, yeah, whatever. So I'm just kind of stopped talking about it. Now, for me and my wife, before the pandemic, me and my wife, we worked outside. We were working outside the home. So we had a plan to go home immediately if there was a statewide or national power outage. In the same way, in the beginning, I showed you how to tell the difference. Again, if it's an EMP, your car will be dead. It's not going to work. No one's car is going to be working. Okay. So that also means airplanes will start crashing. Okay. Any car made any car made after 1980 will not work. Okay. Unless you buy an EMP shield for your car. Now, if you just type in EMP shield, there's a company that claims they make EMPs for the car. They claim they tested it. They claim, the military has bought, all, the DOD has bought them for their vehicles. We don't know. You're not going to know until there's an EMP, and if you buy one. So you have to buy one, then you have to get installed, and that could be an insurance policy. That could be an insurance policy that you want to purchase. Okay. So again, now the problem with having a car during an EMP will be just as many as putting a bat signal outside your house saying, "I have food, water, and supplies." So for one, no one else's car is going to be working. And so therefore you got traffic. And two, assuming you get around the traffic. So let's say you have, the big Ford F-50 and you can get around all that traffic. You're going to be the only car in that area who's driving around. Everybody's going to come to you saying, "Oh, I got to get to my wife. Oh, my kids are over here. Oh, can you help me?" You're going to be saying no to a lot of people, and some people won't be asking. Okay, since you have the only working car in your area. So again, if you get an EMP shield for your car, and it does work, that is something that you're going to have to think about. Okay. King Ben, you wanted to get in?
Because you're speaking to something that, you talking about these times that our people like need to prepare for. So in those times, we got to be prepared to be like, and this is everything that the brother Leo is giving you is, case by case scenarios. You know what I'm saying? So he's giving you the formula that if you're home, but let's just think that that's the perfect situation, that you're going to be home during this so-called attack. A lot of times we work, our kids is in school, we're out. So it has to be, you have to be prepared either way, that you may not be home or be able to get to your home. If you don't want to be stuck. So you should be preparing your car to have like a separate bag, in your car. I know everybody, we talked about it last time, everybody's not rich enough to have, multiple bug out bags with all the supplies, but that's why you are preparing now as much as you can, because a lot of times you're on the move. I just want to get a precept in regards to that, because the Most High speaks about that, just you're being prepared. And at this time, like if you're not home, you're gonna be like moving as pilgrims. We're gonna be going from place to place, especially if you're on the road, right? This is Second Ezra 16 and verse 40. It says, "O my people, hear my word. Make you ready, make you ready to the battle, and those evils be as even Salakia, be even as pilgrims upon the earth." So we know as pilgrims, they move from place to place. Our people have always been like nomadic people, moving from place to place. When things have happened, we had to move. We had to be on the go. We getting ready to celebrate the Passover. When we left Egypt again, we had to leave with haste, right? That's why we got the unleavened bread. Our women rolled up the unleavened bread in their gowns, and the men, they ate with their staffs and their shoes on. They ate girded up. Our people always moved like pilgrims in the land. We had to move from place to place, right? And what the Most High tells you, if you are caught in that situation, what should you do? You've got to be prepared, right? This is book of Matthew, chapter 24 and 17. It says, "Let him which is on the housetop not come down and take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But I pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Sabbath day." Right? So he's preparing us for this time. He's letting us know that these times are coming, right? It says, drop down to 29. It says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken." Right? So these are those times that the brother Leo is talking about. It's not going to be that perfect scenario where we get hit with an EMP and everything is like you're so prepared and you got everything together. You're going to be, for lack of a better word, you're going to be, you're going to be messing yourself. You know what I'm saying? People, your family going to be panicking. Your neighbors, it's going to be like those movies. It's going to be like, War of the Worlds, Day After Tomorrow. They got a movie on a show on Netflix called Colony, about an invasion, and things like that. So it's going to be those times. It's going to be those uncertain times, the times that we, as the children of Israel, that was prophesied to us about, that we need to be paying attention for. It's not going to be that perfect situation. So the brother Leo is giving you multiple different scenarios of what to do should those take place. And I yield.
Con. I'm almost finished. One show you want to watch that goes more into an EMP is really good. I mean, he has 2 seasons. The second season is terrible because that was during the writer's strike in 2008. It's Jericho. Have you ever seen that show? Jericho is really good. The acting is it's okay, but the main characters, one of the actors is the black guy from Walking Dead. He's in it. But the main characters, it's a lot of stuff to consider. It's like a small town that goes through an EMP. Well, I mean, the entire U.S. is under attack, and their town, Jericho, is infected, but it is affected. But it's a small town, so it shows you how they dealt with it. So you got some rogue people, you got some people coming in. They find the town, so it's a pretty good show. The first season is really good, highly recommend it. So going back to this plane within the first 24 hours. Now, we had a plan to go immediately home if it was a power outage or an EMP. Now, I told her the exact route she needs to take home so I know which way she would go if I had to go find her. Now, mind you, if it's a cyber attack, the stop lights, traffic lights will not be working. During an EMP, the lights and the vehicles will not be working. So whatever that plan is, you and everyone in your family has to know what that is. And just like Brother King is saying, like when this goes down, probably will not be the ideal scenario. Countries know other countries' routines, and most people around the world are home on the weekends. So if you really want to screw a population over and make them panic, you would attack on a Monday morning or Tuesday morning when people are stuck in traffic or at work or whatever. That's just one of the tactics of war. You're not going to do it while everyone's at home, rested up on the weekend. Possible, but not likely. Okay. So now, with that said, I told her whoever gets home first is to fill up the bathtub with water using our water bob. Now, if you look at a water bob is just look up my profile pic. Do it right now. Okay, it's loaded. That water bob, it fills the contour. This is a plastic bag that you place in your bathtub, and it fills up the space of your bathtub. Now, this will give you about 100 gallons of water. Now, if you do not have a bathtub, use whatever empty tanks or water bricks you bought and fill those up to make sure that you have water. Now, when the power goes out, the water will still be running for a certain amount of time. Okay, so this water bob is, it's like $34. There's a guy on YouTube tested it out. He filled it up. It works nice. Now, some of you might say, well, I can just fill up the water with water and then just leave it as that. And you could, but part of the things is over time, I'm not gonna say evaporation takes place. So, and you're gonna get all kind of not say sediments and bugs and things, which you're gonna have to like do an additional filtration depending on what you're using that water for. If you're using it for cooking and drinking, then yeah, you could use it for flushing a toilet. But so it's just another option. I'm just giving you options out here. Now, the next thing you want to do is gather intel. Now, this is all in the natural. Hopefully, in the spirit, as the secure children of God, you know what time this is, and you're thanking the Lord that He's coming to deliver His people. Okay, and prayerfully, that's what you're doing. You're not panicking. So in the natural, the next thing you want to do is gather intel. So you were proactive like the ant, and you built your Faraday cage, and you opened it and got your radio out, and you're going to find what's going on. You're going to want to know if this attack is regional, statewide, or national. If you are close to your neighbors, like if you're close, like you have a close relationship with them, and okay, this is the key thing, and they're also preparing, then go talk to them and see what you know, or see what they know. Okay, those are two caveats. You have a close relationship with them. Hopefully they're in the truth. That would be an extra bonus, and they're prepared also. Okay, so you want to make sure. Now, for me personally, I don't talk to my neighbors. No more outside of a high and a wave, and I don't plan on changing that anytime soon. Now, so again, if you have a close relationship with your neighbors, I would also add, if they're in the truth, I would add that too, because that's going to be very important on how they perceive what's going on and how they're going to treat you. And they're prepared also. Okay. Now, some people suggest, I don't suggest this. Some people suggest going to the store one last time within the first 24 hours. I do not, because all hell will break loose and those stores will have long lines and probably looting. Again, you were proactive, so there's no reason for you to go rush to the store for one last grab, okay? Now, some realities you're going to have to deal with, okay? You won't always be able to sleep 8 to 10 hours a night just like you have been, and you probably won't be able to eat 3 meals, 2,500 calories per day. Even though you prepared, you also, in that food preparation, you are also curbing your appetite and limiting your calories, okay? I suggest start that now because it's going to prove useful in a time like this, okay? So you're not going to be able to sleep 8 to 10 hours. Someone in that house will need to keep watch while the other one is resting. Now, again, the next video I'm going to talk about, not the video, I think I'm on YouTube. The next episode, we're going to talk about home security. That'll help, you prepare, not prepare, but help, give you some alert that someone is around your property, even during the EMP and when a cyber attack is, happen, when the power outage, okay? So someone will need to keep watch while the other one is resting. Now, during this time, again, we will be protected. This is Psalms 127:1. a song of degrees for Solomon. Except the Lord build the house, they that labor in vain. Except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that built it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh, but in vain. Psalms 3. I cried unto the Lord with my voice. He heard me out of his holy hill, Selah. Psalms 3, chapter 3, verse 4. And I laid me down and slept, and I awakened, for the Lord sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000 people that have set themselves against me round about. Now, this is during the time while David was getting chased by Saul and his men. So no, David did not get 8 to 10 full hours of sleep and 3 square meals a day with the American diet of 2,500 calories. Okay, I'm sure he was exhausted during this time, but I mean, when he laid down and slept, he awakened, for the Lord sustained him. Okay, so this is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 24. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it comes. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Okay, so those are a couple of precepts to know that at some point you're gonna have to sleep, but sleep with security, knowing that during this time you're going to be taken care of. Now, there's a movie called Blackout. I want you guys to watch. It's really good. There's like a million movies called Blackout. So if you have Amazon Prime, it's free. If not, you should be able to just pull to refresh. You'll see the movie. Type in those actors' names with Blackout, so because like there's a million versions of the name Blackout. So this one is really good. It's free on Amazon Prime if you have it. If not, I would invest a couple of dollars to rent it, because it shows you what happens in the first week of a power outage. Now, it's not an EMP, it's a cyber attack. Well, they don't know. No one knows what caused it, but the power goes out. And it shows some things that, it shows some very interesting things. One guy in the entire town is prepared. And, it shows different stories or points of view of people who aren't prepared. Some people are, you're going to have during this time, you're going to have criminals who are going to take this opportunity to indulge in whatever sick fantasies they have. Okay. People are going to be looting. I don't know. I mean, that's just a normal reaction for people during times like this. People are going to handle personal vendettas. The women who have been haughty during this time and, just ridiculous. It's a lot of terrible things coming to for the wicked. A lot of desolation is coming. So this is a good movie. It's not too graphic. It's not too crazy. It's really good. But it shows you what happens when the power goes out, the first initial, days or weeks. So now with that, I don't have any more. I'm going to do today's question. This is an interesting one. So pull to refresh, and this is tonight's question. This is tonight's question. So I'm going to read it out loud, and I want to know what you guys think. Anyone wants to come up and answer the question, or if they have any questions, we can answer those tonight. An EMP hits. You band together with some local neighbors to look out for each other, but aren't all that close. Your spouse was at work when it hits, and she works, you could put he, 12 miles away. You have 3 small children and are having to take care of them. But it has been 2 days, and your wife still has not made it home. Do you leave your children with your neighbors and wait for your spouse? Stay with your children and hope your spouse shows up? Or take your children with you and go look for your spouse? Who wants to tackle that question? We have Alexis Smith. Oh, and King Ben, before I bring up the guest, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, just one. You could bring stuff though, but
Our sister Brianna
just
can. Yep.
con and I just want to add because you made a good point, and everything that you're given is keys to, to prayerfully to survive in these times. But remember, we're saying this, that you follow these things and you're not out looting, taking part. As scriptures say, follow not a multitude to do evil. These things, you're not out looting, you're not out engaging in folly, that you are, practicing the righteous acts, that you're home with your family, that you are, looking to the Most High to deliver you in these times. He's giving you these keys that you should not be engaging in these things, and that you're still you know uh you know relying on that faith that he talked about. This is one precept I wanted to bring out. Is First Samuel chapter 2 and verse 9, and it reads, he will keep the feet of his saints, right? And we know the saints is us, the children of Israel. It says, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. So we know that you can have everything mapped out correctly. You can have your plan together. You can be straight. You can have all of the best equipment, but no one is going to pull themselves out of the situation. At the end of it all, it's up to the Most High should you make it through these times. So nobody's going to pull themselves out of the situation. But he's giving, what Brother Leo is giving you, something that can, hopefully get you close to that situation. The rest is, and the most important part is the faith and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So on that, I yield.
Con, and I want to bring up this quick precept because some people, when I talk about this type of stuff, they think that I'm saying like, oh, this stuff is going to save me. Like I'm putting this stuff up above the Most High. Absolutely not. 1 second. This is Psalms 44:6. I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. Okay, I'm not doing this to put trust in. Everything I talked about, everything that I suggest that you do, all it is are tools. That is it. Just like you have a hammer and some nails, it's a tool. You're not putting your trust in it. It's going to do what it needs to do when you need to do it, if the Lord says so. So just seeing from my experience, just what I've seen, how people act when they're hungry, I can only imagine what they're going to do when they're starving. Okay, especially in this country. This country is fairly weak. So again, that was Psalms 44:6. I will not trust in my bow, neither shall my sword save me. I have no confidence in anything that I've accumulated. But verse 7, but thou hast saved us from our enemies and hast put them to shame that hated us. In God we boast all the day long and praise thy name forever. That's where my boast, personally, me speaking personally, I wholeheartedly believe these precepts. So with that, Brianna, did you have a question, or did you want to answer this question? What do you got?
I had two things. And sorry, my voice is so icky right now. I'm getting over something. But I wanted to ask, can we talk about being discreet, kind of like with our prepping? Because I know me, for example, some of the measures that I take, because whether we know it or not, like people watch. People do watch. Your neighbors watch, and your neighbors see. Like even if you go stockpile shopping and you're bringing all that stuff in the house, right? They see that. And so some of the things that I do to kind of prevent that, I don't, when I know I'm going to do some stockpile shopping, I don't use the plastic bags, right? I get the reusable bags. One, because nobody can see through that. And two, you can fit more in those bags than you can in the plastic. So it looks like you're bringing in less than what you actually are. And then also, if you have people coming in, if you're one of those people, you have people coming in and out of your house, and you kind of, if your stockpile's kind of like in the open because you're running out of space or whatever, make sure that you have something to say for that. Like if you have somebody in your house and you got your stockpile stuff in the open because you just don't have another place to put it, make sure that you're like, oh, well, this is donations. Like I'm donating all of this tomorrow. Like, excuse it, don't pay attention to that. I'm just donating that tomorrow type thing. Like make sure that you have something to say to people. Cause like me, I have somebody dropping off something that's like really big, unfortunately, and it has to go in a place where I keep my stockpile water at, because that's the only space that I have. So me in my mind, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to tell them like, oh, excuse the mess, like I'm donating all of this tomorrow. We're just donating water for people who don't have clean water type thing. So just being discreet kind of like with your stockpile shopping and what you're bringing in your house, and being mindful that people are looking at what you have. When we talk about, oh, they're going to be coming after us first, a lot of that too is because they've been watching us, our neighbors see. So just talking about being careful about how open we are in regards to like our stockpile.
That's really good. That goes into what I talked about last week, and I kind of touched on it this week. It's called operational security, OPSEC. So with OPSEC, you want to make sure that this is called operational security. Just keep your mouth shut. Loose lips sink ships. So you'll see that. Just be discreet. There's no need. Definitely no. This is the stuff you definitely don't want to stunt about, because when it's time to use it, you're gonna have a bunch of unwanted visitors. Now, for me, unfortunately, my landlord comes here. He does some work around the house, and he's seen some of my stuff. He doesn't say anything, but I know he saw it. When that time comes, I'll make the decision what's necessary. So, I made peace with that. That's the thing. I made peace with it. But in terms of like you said, but the thing is, you want to limit that number to as few as possible. So the landlord, I mean, he comes here to fix stuff, so he's going to see some stuff. Some stuff he asks questions about, I'm like, it's just that's for the garden or whatever. But other stuff is like, I know he sees it. So, but yeah, you would definitely want to limit that. King Ben, something you wanted to add, and then we can get to Sister Alexa.
Khan. Yeah, she raised a very good point, and a lot of our people don't think that because we're very loose in the way we shop, and we're downright. I want to say, we brag to a certain extent, like we care. We're very careless with not only the things we bring in, but also how we dispose of the things that we put out. Just with the trash and packing it down. Some of the boxes, I know people shop, and I'm not telling you not to get, but our people, we buy a lot of things. We'll just sit it by the trash can, and people see basically everything that's going on in our house. So as you have for the women that are married or have a man at home, try to get him to break those things down and put them in a trash can or cover them up with other type of bags to dispose of those things. And for the women that are alone, do the best you can in trying to break those stuff down and put them out, because our women are more of a target, those that are living alone by themselves, as it being versus with someone else in the household with them. But we have to be more mindful of letting people know the things that we are bringing in our household, and a lot of things. A lot of us store things outside. You might want to do just a walk around your house and see some of the things that you do keep outside, and secure them in a certain place, because we're gonna have it's gonna be literally like in those times it's gonna be like Jurassic Park. You're gonna have people looking in your windows. You're gonna have it's going to be very, very, and I experienced this in New York when we had a blackout. I also experienced it down where I am now in South Carolina when we had a blackout. And, you know, people people are more they're more daring at that time. It becomes ruthless at that time. It's everyone for themselves. So people are coming over to want to borrow more, and they want to scope you out. They want to see what you're doing. Especially if you are the only one on the block that's able to barbecue when everybody else on the block really can't get out to the stores and anything like that. So if you eat and they want to eat as well, so it's definitely something to be mindful of. But also before Sister Brianna wanted to see if she want to tackle that question that you have.
You want to tackle the question?
Most definitely. Okay, so um I'm gonna say I would have already been proactive, meaning that we would have already had a plan. So when something goes down, your family should have a plan. Where are you guys going to meet? If we aren't together, where's the place that we are going to meet? So I definitely wouldn't leave my children. I would not leave my children with anybody, because nobody is going to love your children. Nobody's going to take care of your children the way that you can, no matter how good of friends you are, no matter how much, they've grown up with them, or whatever the case may be. When it comes down to, those creepy people that are like, hey, I'll give you, some food if you give me that child type thing. Desperate people do desperate things, and you leave your child with somebody, and unfortunately, something like that can end up happening. So I wouldn't leave my children. I would just either go to the place that me and my husband have already established as like our meeting place. Like, if we're not together when something goes down, this is where we're going to meet. This is where we're going to go. And I'll take my children and we'll go to that place. If our plan is okay for us to stay, it just depends on what our plan is, but I would have a plan. So it just depends on like what the plan is. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Sister Alexis, you have a question, comment, or did you want to tackle this question?
Hey, yes. My kids are in the background, so please excuse them. But I have several questions. My first question was reaching back onto what you said as far as feed dolls in your household. Would you consider merging together, like so it take two households or three households and come together as one to try to get everyone on board for the plan that's set within your household, to like basically share the plan, like, hey, look, this is gonna happen. We all need to come together, think about something, put all the food storages that everybody have together, and then go from there and make sure they understand the plan? Or would you just say every man for themselves and they have to just figure it out? That's my first question.
Okay, very good question. Excellent question. So some prepper groups, they are forming those. It's called MAGs. It's like mutually accessible groups or something, some kind of community. So, I guess to answer your question directly, I would do it if, again, if those people I'm talking to are in the truth and they agree that we should prepare. Because if it's one of the other, I mean, if it's oh yeah, we should prepare, and but they're not in the truth when it comes to this, keeping your head level and leaning on Yahweh, man, it's gonna be very difficult. Um, um, if they're in the truth, like, oh yeah, you have to keep the law, statutes, commandments, oh yeah, shalom, but they're not in prepping. They don't care about that. They're like, yeah, you don't have faith, blah blah blah. I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't even talk to them about it because, for one, they're gonna say, oh okay, yeah, thinking that you're gonna do it, and when it goes down, they're gonna come to your house. They didn't put nothing in. They didn't help you stock. They didn't put no money in. They didn't put any resources, but they're gonna want to come and say, oh sister, you need to help us because the Hebrews, we got to stick together. Jacob got to stick together. So again, that's another problem. So with that, if they're in the truth and they're prepared, I would do it. Some. I think it's one of these camps. I don't want to say their name because I don't want to be wrong. One of these camps, for each for each camp, that inner city, they have a plan that everyone has a bug out bag. These brothers are assigned to this family, or this family is assigned to this single sister. And so, sister, when something goes down, you go to their house, and it's a plan. So whether or not how well that plan works, it depends on each individual, like where they are in their heart, and whether they follow the plan. But at least it's a plan. So I would be wise about that. If they're on board and they're in the truth, I would go ahead and do it. And first, I would pray and fast about it, because the Lord might expose some things to you that you might make a different decision. Make sense?
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds good. I think that's what I was like sleeping on for a while. My next question was, as far as meeting up with your spouse, I do have 3 kids, 3 little babies that I don't trust anyone with, as far as besides my mother, my sister, their dad, of course. They don't even really go to daycare. Sorry, my trust for anybody with my children is far long gone. So me leaving my kids with anyone besides their grandmother or their father is out of the question. And I also have a baby on the way. So when you said, what would you do in the situation of linking up with your spouse, or if your spouse haven't made it home, vice versa, what would you do? So as far as what would you do, what would you consider transportation wise if we do experience a EMP? Like what would be the number one top transportation besides a car? Because of course the car is going to be out. So do you recommend like buying a bicycle, or because I know on foot, it would take us years to get home. Like we work nowhere near home, which is a bad decision for now. But we work nowhere near home. So what would you recommend? Because I was thinking personally a bicycle, and to attach like a child's cubby to the bicycle, just in case we do have to travel. So what would you recommend as far as transportation?
Transportation is a good question. Yeah, I mean, so with this, we're going back to the Stone Age. So bicycles, horses, all those are going to be the new modes of transportation. Because again, we don't know how long this time is going to last, but it's going to be, cars obsolete. So again, if it's a car made after 1980, so those old, anything before 1980 will work fine. They don't have and the reason I keep saying that is because they don't have the computer chips that are inside the car that will succumb to an EMP. So, but the vast mode of transportation will be walking. So when you see in the Bible, you see a day's journey. When you see that phrase, that means 20 miles. So, or so and so traveled 3 days journeys. That means that the trip was 60 miles. So the average human, can travel up to 20 miles per day. So that's what the Bible calls a day's journey. Okay, so and the question is called, in the question you see, it's 12 miles. So it's still a good distance. So if he's not there in 2 days, that means he's gotten tied up. Something's going on. He's helping somebody. Something's going on. So you would have to make that decision on, do you go see? Of course, you said no because you have babies, which is understandable, and he would know that. So he would make sure, I don't care what happens, I'm getting home. Okay. So, but yeah, King Ben, you want to add something?
Yeah, and the best thing we could say to you, sis, in that moment is, the best thing available, whatever it would be. We can't really say, as I brought out Matthew 24 and 17 on down, it spoke about, woe to those that be with baby would suck in those times, or they have to flee during winter, or it be the Sabbath. So, it's going to be the best thing available to you. We can't say necessarily a bike, because, a bike is also going to be a target, as well. You're going to be, open for attack as well on a bike. So, it's going to be the best thing that you can get to your loved ones, or get to safety with, that can protect you, whatever the Most High provides in that moment. You just got to, pray that it be something safe.
Con, you will be a target. I mean, because you ride around on a bike, someone sees it. Oh, I want that bike because I want it. So, and whether or not your husband or whoever else can grab a gun while they're riding a bike, I don't know. It's just too many things to think about. So, I mean, for me personally, unless the Lord says otherwise, we're going to be walking. it's fine. It is what it is. Do you have another question?
No, that's it. That makes sense. So just basically just walk to blend in with everybody else in society that's walking. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I just had there was a curious question that would
Right.
have
No,
escaped my
that's a
brain.
good thing. That's really good. That's really good. That's called it's called, the military has it, or not so the military, but it's a term called gray man. So you want to become a gray man. So what that is you want to blend into your environment as much as possible. So, everyone else is driving a Honda, but some dude pulls up in a Lamborghini. Instantly, everyone is looking at that Lamborghini and looking at him and wondering who he is, what he's doing. Is he an athlete? Is he a rapper? He's drawing unnecessary attention to himself. Now, he wants that attention, of course, but it's just unnecessary. During that time, you definitely don't want to be driving around in a car, honking your horn, asking people to get out the way. Like, that's just unnecessary attention. So it's called gray man. But yeah, blend in as much as possible. And,
And Salakia, just we're not telling you that you see a fast bike and you walk by it and the road look pretty clear. We're not telling you that. We're just telling you that anything that you get, if it could get you to safety, just be mindful of, yourself and, where you're going. We're not going to tell you to, pass up a bike and walk when you're, maybe pregnant. The bike could probably get you there faster. Just, pray that the Most High puts you in a position that, you can get to safety and whatever your mode of transportation is at that point, and use discernment.
Con.
Sounds good. Thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem, sis.
All praise.
I got another question. King Ben, something you wanted to add? I got another question. This one is pretty interesting. This kind of goes Sister Alexis was saying. One second. One second, guys. But yeah, man, thanks for coming in. Thank you for joining the room. Become a member and nominate others to become a member. We have more rooms, more classes like this coming. So definitely stay tuned. Now, this is an interesting one. This kind of goes into what Sister Alexis was saying. You can pull to refresh. This one says some people. So let's say you form a group. Now, some people in your group can't handle the stress of the end of the world and have turned to drinking your alcohol stores in excess. This is affecting your group's morale and slowing any traveling progress. The drunk does not respond to several requests to abstain. How would you handle them? Anybody want to take that?
Buddy just gotta go. Buddy just gotta go. I mean, to be honest, what can you do? Like, we're talking about a grown man, right? Or a grown woman.
Yeah. Well, yeah, say he's a grown man. But the thing is, you say, oh, yeah, sir, you got to go. You can no longer be of our group that has supplies, food, and alcohol. You need to go. You think he's just going to say, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I am wilding. So let me go ahead and be on my way. Y'all be easy out there.
You're right.
Now, these are some questions. I pray that none of us have to answer these questions, but being realistic of human nature and the people we're going to have to come in contact with, these are serious questions. Because again, with Sister Alexis' question is, oh, should we, join a group? And, on the outside, because the thing is, you don't know what's going on in people's houses. So that's why you want to pray for discernment, because you're talking to them. They can quote precepts. They know all this word. They're stocking, they're fasting and praying. But when it really goes down, and that stress is real. I mean, we're going to be honest. The stress that's going to come is real. That's why you really have to get in the word and get in these precepts. Okay. So some people can handle stress better than others. Some people go to sleep. Some people drink. Some people eat. Some people, they're just very edgy. Some people, they quote the word. But this person here is drinking in excess to where, he's slowing down the progress and is becoming it's affecting the morale of everyone else in the group. So this is why you definitely want to pray for discernment, because the Lord might show you that, hey man, this person got a drinking problem. You sure you want to form a group with this person? So
But I'm sorry, quick question. But what if that person, the drunk that's a part of the group, be like most I'm not a big fan of drinking. I'm not a big fan of smoking. I'm really natural. But like say for instance, the person that does have those habits have like good intentions when they're sober or mid sober. So say they might just give good opinions and they give good, good acknowledgement at the
Right.
time needed. But under
Nope.
stress, they just drink. So what if they have good intentions, but that's how they handle their stress? I think I won't automatically just walk away and leave them. But a couple of days in, okay, hey, get it together.
Right. And it's to the point where it's the part of the question is this is affecting your group's morale and slowing down any traveling progress. So
Con.
for that to happen, that means he's throwing up, he's kind of belligerent, he's just talking negatively, and that kind of stuff. That negative talk will affect everybody else. So, but yeah, like you said, but he's sober. Whenever that is he's very beneficial to the group. That is something that you are going to have to make a decision on. Hopefully, not you. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. But I'm just saying, like in this scenario, for me personally, I guess I'll answer it. I would try to find the alcohol and get rid of it. Um, that would be me. And
Con.
any store we came across, I would make sure he doesn't see the alcohol, or you know, that would be me.
Another quick question, well, scenario. So what if the alcohol keeps him motivated? And I would take it too, but what if he turns like I have like I don't know how to explain it, but what if he turns against the group and then he becomes the group enemy? So just like taking our have you ever seen a team where one teammate got kicked out of the team and then they take your plan and give it to someone else's, or this is what I know about these people. So what if it's like it can turn on us and then land in someone else's hands and then you know
Well,
we
I mean, yeah, at that point, it's out of your control because they're no longer with your group. So at that point, I mean, the Lord is faithful to protect to protect you guys. So I mean, as long as it doesn't become a violent threat, then I wouldn't worry too much about it.
And
Because
it's
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead, King. Go ahead, King.
Oh no, I'm saying like because I mean, any plans. I mean, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So you know,
Right,
amen to that.
so
right, right. But
go ahead.
so see, but it's a bunch of variables and nuances to that. I mean, you
Uh,
can always say what if, but if anybody that's seen the movie the Bird Box, right? So you had this guy that was literally, they didn't want him to be part of the group, and he came into the group, and basically, I guess, they started to convince him that he belonged there, and let him stay against everyone, most of the guys' wishes, and he turned out to be the one that was gonna, bring the enemies to, he was one of the enemies. So, he ended up, so you got to use discernment of anybody you bring into the group. It's not that, it's not going to be a situation where, everybody is sacrificed for the safety of this one person. Is always the betterment of the group. Not to mention that you may be traveling with children. You always got to think what's in the best for the children. So you have a guy that's around drinking, you have women that's around, you don't want no one that's gonna be, bringing down the morale of the people, that's, taking the extra food that you have saved up and things like that. You may have to use certain alcohol for certain things. Alcohol can be used for certain things. So you definitely don't want him drinking up the alcohol and being belligerent. So these are all things, and we're praying, and we are people that's this everything that we do is built on the foundation of the Bible. So that's the spirit that we're going to be moving in. So if we have anybody with us that's not moving in it with that foundation, they probably ain't gonna be allowed to come with us at all. So we gotta think on these things first. It's not to say that we're not gonna extend the help um to someone that's in need, our brother or so, but we also know that we have to go what the book tells us to do, and we can't have no one around us that's not that doesn't have the understanding of keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. If they don't have these type of things, and we should be able to tell that they are not of our our same teachings and understanding. It's going to show really quick. So you're going to be able to expel those that are not, not they don't have faith in the Most High. They're not going to be operating with us. They're not going to be moving like how we move. So it's going to be an easy decision.
Con. And this is why you want to get your mind right now. You want to get your mind, like Second Ezra 16 says, "Hear, O my 16, chapter 16, verse 40. Hear, O my people, hear my word, and make you ready to the battle, and be as pilgrims upon the earth." Because I mean, part of preparation is getting your mind right. So I know I'm not going to be, taking a hot shower twice a day. I know I'm not going to be able to sleep 8 to 10 hours. I know I'm not going to be able to have three. I don't eat three meals a day anyway. But I mean, I know these modern conveniences that we have now. I know, and I'm okay with it because I see what the Lord is doing of them not being around. So, someone who's stressing, they're not in this word. I mean, it would be, hard pressed. You'll be hard pressed to tell me that you've been in this word or you've been believing what this word says, and you're sitting here stressing like that to where you got to grab the bottle. So, but yeah.
Also, Salakia, also a man that, and I always, I think every one that these that we've done, I talked about the men preparing themselves by fasting at least once a week, building yourself
Uh-huh.
up. So if you are not if you are not adhering to those type of things, you're going to be going into the women and the children food. You're going to be eating more meals than them. You're going to be a gluttonous. You're not going to be a person that is going to, uh, help us, be an asset to the group. You're going to be someone that's taken away from the rest of the more vulnerable, which is the women and the children. So you definitely don't want that person around. So at these times, we should be preparing those things. The women preparing to probably do a little less for the children, and the men to preparing to do a little less for the women and the children. So we definitely don't want those around in those times. And then you'll be able to, like I said, see and be able to expel those that are not of that mindset.
Con. Yeah. So, I mean, perfect during this time, the Lord is gathering the elect to the elect. So, I mean, our problems will be nothing compared to what the wicked is about to go through. So, in the unrepented and, our oppressors. So, I mean, when you're talking about like, oh, I don't have, my Wi-Fi, or you're stressing over minor things, just let's take a look real quick, and then we'll close here because I don't want to hold you too long. But let's just take a look what the oppressors are going to go through. This is with 1 second. This is Isaiah chapter 49, verse 26. And I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they that be drunken with their own blood as sweet wine. And all flesh shall know that I am the Lord, thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. So what our oppressors are about to go through is about to be, exponentially worse. It's going to be like you're talking to the 10th power, that they are going to be so hungry that they're going to start eating each other's bodies.
Khan, Salakia.
Brother here stressing that he needs to grab the bottle. Nah, bro, you ain't stressing. It ain't that bad. Whatever it is, if you got alcohol and you're able to get drunk on a regular basis, it ain't that bad. Whatever you're stressing about. Go ahead, King.
Khan, I got one precept. My bad, Salakia. Yeah, this is Isaiah. Just let me back in on what Leo said. That's what they're going to be different than us. So where most of our attackers is going to come from, because they don't have this understanding that we have. As the brother Leo so eloquently brought out, we will have the faith, we will have the understanding this times, as we learned our ancestors went through, and the prophecy that we learned is preparing us for these times. But as our oppressors, they're gonna, it's gonna be, all hell is gonna be hitting the fan. As we see through the pandemic, they cannot survive on their own, and they have all the supplies, they have all the money. This is their heaven. But when these things happen, they are a greedy nation. The United States, is a nation of waste. This is a very wicked nation. So we know in these times when we have in this faith, these people are gonna, they're gonna curse themselves. They're gonna want, like you said, they're gonna eat one another. They're gonna be in anguish, right? This is Isaiah chapter 8 and 21, and reads, "And they shall pass through it, hardly bestead and hungry. And it shall come to pass that when they shall be hungry, they shall fret themselves and curse their king and their God and look upward," right? They're going to be, as they do. When the pandemic hit, they're cursing the president, right? They love the president all the other time, but they're going to curse their king and whoever they believe in, right? But we know that the Most High is only dealing with us, right? Verse 22, "And they shall look unto the earth and behold trouble and darkness, dimness and anguish, and they shall be driven into darkness." So that's that time that is speaking about. They're going to be fretting themselves. They're going to be cursing, while everything's going good. They love the Lord, or who they pray to. They're happy. But as we seen a couple weeks ago, they can't be around each other. It was a man and a woman, two neighbors that was, plowing their yard with snow. And, the neighbor shot the woman and the husband right in front of them. These people are wicked. They cannot be around each other. So in those times, while we, because Most High said he's going to feed his servants in those times. But on the flip side of that, those people are going to be ravaging and raging. They're going to be seeking after to pillage and to hurt, those that fear the Lord. So we definitely have to be, be, set and cemented into this, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and keeping these commandments. And I.
Con. One more precept, and then we can close out. This is 2 Ezra 15:58. "They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, and eat their own flesh, and drink their own blood, for very hunger of bread and thirst of water." Now, when it says they shall die of hunger, it takes a person 42, I want to say 42 days, 42 or 60 days to physically die of hunger. There's a video that, if you just look up like the process of dying of hunger, it's a very slow and painful process. Your organs start shutting down and all this other stuff. And, these people are going to go to cannibalism, and that's going to make it worse because, our bodies are not designed to eat human flesh. So, but yeah, it's going to be bad. So, the little minor inconveniences that the children of Israel are going to go through, just say all praises. And because your oppressors are going through 10 times worse. And, rightfully so. So with that, I'll end today's video. If there's not video, I keep saying video. Today's episode. So if there's any more questions at this time, I can pass over to King Ben, and he can close us out.
Con. Definitely. Very great lesson. Very great class. Make sure you follow moderators. Please follow the moderators. Brother Leo's doing an excellent job. Brother Mike. Definitely he'll be back with the morning, midday, mid-morning brew blend, which we're going to cover a lot of topics through the morning. We to get you right, with your morning and current events. If you above Mike, you should see the club, Thy Kingdom Come. Click on that club and become a member. Please nominate people to the club. We got some very interesting and informative things coming up that concerns our community. We're going to actually be working with Sister Brianna in preparation for sister's lesson to prepare for the upcoming Jacob's Trouble, and some of the things that she prepares and how to work with less. We got some other things coming down the pipe, so definitely stay tuned. Click on myself, Brother Leo, or Brother Mike's page and go down, and please follow all of those clubs. All those clubs are doing great work. We got the Crown of Thorns, which starts in the morning, which runs throughout the morning to the afternoon. We got God First Gang, which deals with the milk of the scriptures. We got the 1/3 Club deals with the more meaty topics, the more meaty scriptures. We got Free Smoke Fridays, which whoever wants smoke with the scriptures, that'll be that'll where you find that on Fridays. And we also got Shalom and Chill, which is the room that where we lay back after teaching, and brothers and sisters that are learning, they can go in there and chill and just vibe out. Everyone gets on stage and everyone chats, everyone on mics. So we got all those clubs, and we got For the Love of God, which is the sisters group. They'll be running different programs on there. So make sure you follow all those clubs. All of them work very good. And, we're building up this platform to try to keep this running, all of these clubs running 24 hours a day, so that you get constant edification, bringing together some of the best teachers and best moderators, precept pullers, and readers as well. So, and it's not being done on Clubhouse anywhere else. So we're trying to do it, and it's all going through the Most High, all at the behest of the Most High, that we're trying to do this. So we thank everyone for coming out. If you go on my bio, for anyone that missed any precepts or any part of the lesson, you can go into my YouTube, and we should have the script of those precepts. And we thank everyone for coming out. Everybody Salakia, if anyone doesn't have any more questions, we're gonna say shalom. Sister Brianna, if you can hang around, we're gonna grab you for a second and want to holler at you about a few things, if that's okay.
Gotcha.
Thank you guys for
coming. Brother Mike, y'all got anything?
No, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I really appreciate it. I mean, it means a lot. So hopefully you guys take heed. Catch me on Twitter. Ask me any questions. Ask Mike, Brother King Ben, Sister Brianna. So again, thank you very much. Y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all. The next lesson we're going to talk about will be home security and building your bug out bag. Okay. So with that, you guys take care.
Khan, Leo, if you could close up, I'm gonna hop out and Brianna, and then I'm gonna bring y'all in after y'all close out. All right.
Sure.
All right.